I'd never gone for a smear test before, and I wasn't sure what the protocol was. Now, again, this is back in the 80s, when women didn't laser and shave and get rid of all their bits. Like, they didn't have air runways and, no, it was all natural. And we went around with our bikini line looking like an explosion in a mattress factory, unless we were going on holidays, in which case we tried to do something about it. And I was like, what should I do? But the only things that we could use to do something about it, to tidy it up, was either a razor or cream. And both of them could leave you with a rash. And I thought, I'm not going down here now with a rash. That could send us all off in a different direction. But I thought, I'll give it a haircut. I'll give it a tight haircut. I had visions of his fingers getting stuck or something. I didn't know like what was actually going to happen. So I gave myself a haircut, and anyway, down we went, and I presented myself. We called this fella Basil, so I presented myself in, and he said, oh, Barbara, very good, jolly good. What are you here for? And I said, oh, I'm here for smear test, Doc. And his face had this parade of expressions that went from bafflement to surprise to kind of mild amusement. And he said to me, oh, right, jolly good. I mainly get all the older women in here, but no problem. We could do your smear test, that's fine. At this stage, I was thinking, oh, Jesus wept. Anyway, he says, in you go into the bed there, pull the curtain around, remove your lower garments, and I'll be in a minute. So I said, all right, first time. In I go, there's the bed, there's the stool, remove your lower garments. My first problem was shoes and socks. Like, I don't need to remove my shoes and socks, but what's the should I remove my shoes and socks? And then I thought, well, it's not very polite to get on anybody's bed with your shoes on, so I'll take the shoes off. But then I was like, what about the socks? Like, I don't need to take the socks off, but I look a bit odd if I've nothing on except socks and a t-shirt. But I thought, if I take the socks off, does it look like I'm trying to be sexy? Like, you know what I mean? So I thought, fuck it, I leave the socks on, just to give him a clear indication that I take this seriously. So he went off out the door, and to this day I am convinced he went to look up in a manual where he might find my cervix, because I don't think he'd done one of these for quite a long time. Anyway, I'm lying there, and the next thing I hear him coming back in the room, and the curtains part, and he puts his head around, and he is wearing a miner's lamp strapped to his forehead. Anyway, smear test was conducted, and it was all jolly good fun by all accounts, and everything was fine. So I went to him a few times, and then there was the baby years where I've had three kids. Now, once you've had one baby, never mind 3 babies or 2 babies or more babies, all your dignity is gone, right? And you're not a bit bothered about who sees your fanny, because everybody has seen your fanny as far as you're concerned. Once you've laid in a delivery room with a gynecologist and a midwife and another nurse and the woman bringing in the tea and the fella washing the windows and God only knows who else, you're like, everybody's seen my fanny, so I don't actually care anymore who's going to see my fanny, because it's been seen by everybody. I mean, if my fanny turned up on the evening news, I wouldn't have been at all surprised. But the only thing is, I wouldn't have recognised it, because we've never seen our fannies. Like, I could never do a head over heels, so like, I could never possibly see my fanny. And remember, we've all our hairy bits, so I've no idea what my fanny looks like. In fact, I thought all women's bits looked the same until I watched that stupid Channel 4 dating naked programme by mistake one night, and I sat there with my chin on the floor going, what? There's in ones and out ones and big ones and small ones. I thought, I never knew any of that. Anyway, my gynecologist did my smear test then for a few years, and then it was, you were returned back to the care of your GP. And Basil had retired at this stage, so my new GP was the same guy who's still my GP, and he's a very nice man, and he keeps bees. So we call him the beekeeper. Although I recently discovered all his bees died. Not sure what that says about him as a doctor, but anyway. So and now at this stage we had a female doctor in the practice, but I was so cool and down with it. I thought, I'm not ringing, she's not my GP, I've never gone to her about anything. He's my GP. So like, it's a smear test, I'll go to him because that's my GP. Like, he knows me and has all my records and all. So made the appointment, down I go, in I go, and he says to me, what are you here for? And I said, I'm here for a smear test. He lost the fucking head. What? I said, I'm here for smear test. He said, we have a female doctor here. What the hell are you doing in here? I was like, well, I don't know. I just thought, like, I should, because you're my GP. He got very annoyed. In you go. He said, take off your lower garments. I'll be in a minute. So I went in and I took off my lower garments. Oh, and then there's the other problem, the other conundrum you have when you take off your lower garments, and that is your knickers. Right? Where do you put your knickers? You fold everything up and you put them on the stool. Do you put your knickers on top? No. You hide them. You put them in the pocket, or you fold them up in the trousers. Because God forbid the fella who's going to be looking up your fanny in a minute might actually see your knickers. That would be a disaster.